Hi everybody, another restoration video here at Owen Automotive. This time we're going to show you how to put the engine into an E-Type. Here we have a 4.2 liter ready to go into our 1970 restoration car, which is right here. And yeah, we're going to show you what the marriage looks like. So our method to kind of preserve the firewall and stop from any scratching or any big antics is to actually go against the grain and install the engine up from underneath the car. If we look at the shop manual here, we can see that they usually recommend it come up and out. The advantage of that is you don't have to take off the intake and exhaust systems, the manifolds and the carburetors. But having that 800 pounds at a 45 degree dangling above the car is a little overkill. So to do it our way, you need to remove the motor mounts. They're sitting right here. You can see them all painted up. And we have the hardware, the original hardware, to put them back on. That's really cool. And just before it goes in the car, there's a bit of preparation. Setting up the clutch slave cylinder is a real bonus. I've had to do this after the fact and it's a pain. So there it is all set up. You'll want that on there with the flex line because there's just no room to get to that otherwise. Same goes for the starter motor, which is fitted right here. All right, before we begin, I also have to talk about the drive shaft. Here's our drive shaft for our project car. Been refinished and rebuilt with new U-joints and fully cleaned up. So why am I showing you the drive shaft? That's because if the engine and the differential, the rear end, are in at the same time, there is no way to take this drive shaft in or out. So if your rear end is in the car, and you're gonna put the engine in, you gotta get your drive shaft in there first. Thank me later. Okay, let's move on. So without further ado, we're gonna move this engine underneath the car and bring the body down on top of it to complete the marriage. So here we can see the cavity that the engine's going to go up and into. Got the sun there, shining like the heavens. That's where this thing's going to fit. And before I forget, at the rear of the engine, you want these oil lines hooked up and the stabilizer link right there. They could be put in afterwards, but it's much easier to install before it goes in the car. Just getting it in place. Got a nice 120 there in the background. Okay, here we are, engine in place. Gonna drop the E-Type down on top of it. Yeah, here comes the marriage. What's the bet that this is in the right spot right off the bat? What's the bet? No bets? I bet against. I bet 100 against. Uh-oh, the dipstick's in the way. Here it goes. There we go. You're on the payroll. Here it comes. We're just gonna have to shuffle it around, I guess, if it's not quite in the right spot. Yeah. Okay, I think we're gonna have to do some shuffling there. Okay, that's it. Okay, now we're gonna shuffle it around, get it in place. We're nearly there.
Looks like it might just go right down without any shuffling.
I think so too.
What?
I think you put the chain on top so you're ready. And now you're set.
Let's just go a little deeper and see.
How are we looking here?
Yeah. Oh, you're gonna hit the rocker shaft on that side.
It's a little bit at an angle.
This one right here.
Oh yeah, well let's just go down a bit. Might just twist the back over slightly, eh? Just give it
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, looking pretty good. Gonna get the hoist on the engine now and pick it up and put it into place.
Where can I put this?
Okay, just gonna lift up the engine into position.
Get me out of the picture.
No way. You can record here if you want. We're gonna have to set the balance different on the,
Seems a little bit, oh, it's high, doesn't it?
yeah.
Just do a little change up here.
Yeah, luckily we have, what is this, an adjustable dolly? What is that thing called?
Yeah, it's called a tilt-a-lift. It's an O-bird tilt-a-lift.
Tilt-a-lift. Yeah, we're gonna use,
How do you move it?
You just use a breaker bar.
yeah, so this tilt-a-lift system's gonna let us adjust the angle of the engine and transmission, which is paramount when it starts lifting like this.
Watch out for the frame on the paint job.
Yeah.
I think he would not.
Back of it.
If he pulled, yeah, there we go.
It's a torsion bar bracket.
So am I.
Yeah, me too. I think we're clear.
There it is.
That's it.
She's in place, so next, we're gonna have to fit these motor mount brackets onto the car and drop it onto the subframes.
Just to get that centered.
Well, yeah, and the other thing is you torch.
Okay, before the engine goes down, now's the time to put on the major pulley on the water pump. Just lift the engine a little bit and it'll clear the picture frame. Put this on now because you can't put it on later. Okay, we're getting closer. The engine's now jacked up from underneath. Got two jacks doing that. You can kind of see a floor jack down there. And the motor mounts are in, just loose. And one little trick is to put the angle drive for the transmission in before you mount the trans. And there's that angle drive right there. It's a lot easier to get in with it loose. You can move the unit over to the driver's side and put the angle drive in. So now we're ready to put the trans mount in, right? Trans mount next. All right, one last step is putting in this transmission mount. The rearmost mount, it's actually a quite soft spring that the transmission sits on. It's limited in travel by this buffer that goes around the pin. So that'll secure the rear of the transmission. And to complete it, we'll put in this engine stabilizer. This is the old one that goes near the firewall. Okay, everybody, the engine's in. That's how you do it. It comes up from the bottom, no drama, and that's what we like. 800 pounds above all these components, and try not to scratch at a 45-degree angle like the shop manual says is a little too much. If you can, take off the manifolds and do it this way. I think it's a much better solution. So that was it. That's how to install your Jaguar XKE E-Type engine the easy way.